Were you that kid that held the family talk shows, radio shows, and maybe even did the Oscar speech in the mirror, like just kind of awarding the winning title? Was that you?
I feel like you've done this before.
Definitely the Oscar one. It was more like the, and and the award for best actor in a solo sitcom is the Food Tuber UK. Hello, and welcome to Dishin It, the podcast all about food in Scotland. Joining me on this episode is Lauren Mitchell, the host of the breakfast show on Northsound 1, where she keeps us locals well stocked with news from the northeast, exciting developments, and of course the biggest hits and the biggest throwbacks. Apologies in advance for my hellishly loud outbursts of laughter through this one. 1, I was sat too close to the mic, and 2, Lauren was an absolute cracker of a guest. We talk about her career so far in radio, the changing city, people power, and probably a little bit too much about Haddock and Roundabout. But you'll see why soon. This episode is just over an hour, so in the essence of time, I'll put a cork in it and get this episode underway, and I'll see you at the end as usual. Going live in 5, 4, 3, 2. Switching the breakfast show slot for the drive time slot to record this episode, it's Lauren Mitchell from Northsound. How you doing, Lauren?
That's one of the best introductions I've
really?
ever had. I genuinely thought, I was like, wait a minute, hang on, do you think I'm on drive time? I don't know, but yeah, that's amazing. Keith, thank you for having me on. I feel privileged to be on this podcast because I've had a listen to it, and the people that you've had on it already, I'm just like, do I even fit in this, this? Of
course
category?
You do.
Yeah.
Of course you do. I couldn't think of anyone better to have on. Obviously, I've said that you host the breakfast show on Northsound 1, and you're always well stocked with local news, music, hilarity with your co-host Jeff. And you've got all CNI over what's going on in Aberdeen. So I thought, just get her on. She'll know good food spots. She'll know where to eat.
I think so. I think I do. I mean, the list has been so hard to kind of pull it down. I don't know about you, but I could eat everything all day.
Yeah, I feel
you.
Could
eat out
I
all
feel
the time. Could you? Yeah.
Definitely. I'm sorry that I've had to get you to put your ear pods back on and get your microphone back out to record this session. But I was really interested to know, what's your usual day when you come off air after hosting the show?
Okay, so it varies from week to week. As you can imagine, the pandemic has had a massive, weird stop to the things that I would do beforehand. So usually when we come off air, we finish about 10 o'clock and we'll have a meeting with one of our managers. So we have a couple that can, speak to us. And that is a chat, maybe there was something this morning that they highlight, or maybe it's something that they highlight because it's a bad thing and you get into trouble or something like that.
God.
So we have a little chat and we just talk about, the show, and then we talk about what the future is looking like. So what's coming up? Are we, pushing towards Christmas? Is there things happening in the next few while? So it's all about just that conversation and thinking about what's coming next. And then when I finish that, it could literally be anything from, I had blind taste testing yesterday at Eat on the Green. Obviously you today. Yeah, there's been just, it's honestly, it's the weirdest. I'll sometimes be working with the Archie Foundation or having meetings with just random people all the time. The day seems to just I go. Do you know what I mean? It's awesome.
Your years must just fly by. Must just disappear.
Yeah, it's weird, and I suppose a lot of us during the pandemic have had to look after our family or maybe elderly relatives, and one of those people that I've looked after is my granddad. So I go over there quite a lot, have a really nice relationship with him. So I spend quite a lot of time over there, and that takes up, of course, the whole afternoon because you just get talking, and then before you know it, it's 6 o'clock, gotta go. So yeah, it's just, honestly, Colin, it's like the messiest week of all time, but I like it like that, I think, because every day is different.
Good. That's the best way to be, isn't it? Definitely. Yeah. And I was actually listening to you guys this morning, and I was delighted to hear that all the roadworks that are happening in Aberdeen is to make the roads back to normal again, which is fantastic. Because I literally, this past week, I've been coming into work being like, why are the roads so bad? And then I realised they're taking away the spacing and everything for, obviously, the COVID path extensions and stuff.
It is, isn't it mad though, how usually, and you'll notice this, and parents will notice this everywhere, is that when the schools go back, of course, the council want to change the roads, and it just is what it is, because people are going back to work, and so you just got to deal with it. But it is horrendous, and I feel sorry for people, because I'm sat in the radio getting paid to just tell you that you're going to be stuck in a jam. But it is horrible, but it's for a good thing, and that is obviously building great things for Aberdeen.
Thank God. Exactly. Because where I'm from, mentioning the Hadigan, where I'm from, the Hadigan is like the cursed child of Aberdeen. Like the amount of people, my mum for one, doesn't drive in Aberdeen because of the Hadigan. She just thinks it's this big beast. It's like, it's fine. Like, just go, hide behind another car and just go. Like, you're fine. And literally, I'm like, it's going to be gone soon. So you've got an excuse to come into Aberdeen. You can't not come in now.
That is amazing. It's like, I'm not going into Aberdeen because the Hadigan.
Literally, the amount of people who don't, it's crazy. But yeah, I'm glad to see the back of the Hadigan, definitely. Now, right, we're not here to talk about roadworks, as much as I love to talk about those. But I wanted to find out, before we dive into the food recommendations, where did your kind of radio broadcasting career all start?
So I knew I wanted to be in the radio somehow. I was very dramatic as a child. You know, I had one hire and it was drama. And I just really enjoyed adverts, if I'm honest. And I think that's why I like the marketing side of things as well. You'll know that, is that you love...
Yeah, love an advert. Love a slogan. Love a slogan. Love a rhyming slogan.
Yeah. That's honestly, that was me as a kid. I used to like rattle off all these rhymes, all these slogans for Tesco and Asda and all that sort of stuff. Like, used to smack my bum. Do you remember when it was Asda price?
Asda price, clink, clink. Yeah.
That's it. So I really loved that side of things. And I ended up going to college and I studied HND and radio. And then I went to media at RGU, did media.
Nice.
And then I entered a competition. So I did a lot of work experience. I shouldn't say that I just entered a competition, but I did quite a lot of work experience with KFM, which is the sister station to Northsound 1, and it's down in Dundee. So I did a lot of work experience with them during the summer, and then I did some street team stuff. You'll hear a lot of people in radio, they've done street team and they've, you know, had to do that side of things before coming on air. And then I entered a competition. It was actually one of my friends from uni had said, you should do this. You should try it. And I have. He said he applied for it, and I thought, I can't apply against you. That's horrible. But in the end, I thought there's no reason why I shouldn't. I'll go for it. So I made a video, sent it in. It was this big competition, and then in the end, I won it. I got this phone call, and I thought, you're joking? Are you kidding? I've just won a job. Like, what?
I mean, that's a good way to that's a good job interview. Win a competition. I love that. So it was amazing. So I moved up to Aberdeen, and that was that. It was just, I started on the travel, and then things happened, and I ended up on the breakfast show. I actually wasn't even expecting it. It was one of those things that I just, imposter syndrome, never just thought happened. I'd ever get there. Yeah, and it came up, and somebody asked me, would you fancy it? And I said, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Not realizing how early it was in the morning, and then here we are today. So yeah, it's amazing.
Amazing. I was away when you just said there, like when the person offered it to you, like my reaction would have been like, does a bear shit in the woods? I'll do it. It reminded me there, like I should say, you can swear on this podcast if you want to. I know you can't swear on air, so if you want to swear, you swear away.
Don't even open the door.
It'll never stop.
It'll never stop. Blah, blah, blah. I'm terrible with swear words. But yeah, you're absolutely right. That's exactly what it was. I thought, of course I do, you know, but weird. It's weird to think back to where you are now. You know, you're probably the same, where you think,
how did that happen?
Doing this?
Yeah. How did that happen? Yeah, 100%.
How did we get here? You know,
it's the universe looking out for you. That's what it is. That's what I always say. So I suppose you said you were a dramatic kid. So were you that kid that held the family talk shows, radio shows, and maybe even did the Oscar speech in the mirror, like just kind of awarding the winning title? Was that you?
I feel like you've done this before.
Definitely the Oscar one.
You've definitely got some sort of, I think you've also got drama in you.
Yeah.
You know, but
yes. Amateur dramatics. Yeah.
You should.
Every day's a show.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're
don't tempt me.
Right. One of the things I did do as a kid, it wasn't so much the speeches, but it was I wanted to be in the library, and I'd put books. I'd put books at the side of me, and I'd beep the hello, welcome to the library, beep, and put it to the next.
Oh.
Yeah, like that's weird, but I think that and the tree. I was very good at the tree. When you stood and you pretended to be a tree. That's very good at that. But other than the speeches, I haven't done that speech before in my life. Never.
It was more like the, and and the award for best actor in a solo sitcom is the Foodtuber UK.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's positive affirmation. If you tell yourself, if you do things like this, one day it will happen.
God forbid the day I get my own sitcom. I don't want to even watch that. Who knows?
It would. You just avoid it.
Universe, don't do that bit. Don't do that bit. Keep me here. That's fine. So when you start the breakfast show in the morning, what's your breakfast to keep you stocked for the day?
When I think about it, I'm embarrassed to tell you, because it's not healthy. I go for really unhealthy options in the morning, and then in the nighttime I'll ease off a bit. So I usually go for a chocolate muffin or like waffles, or if I'm feeling a bit healthy, I'll go for a banana. And the last couple of weeks it's been jelly.
Interesting.
Jelly for breakfast.
I mean, I like the idea.
Yeah, give it a go.
Ice cream in there, custard.
To be honest, right, I'm the kind of person that would have a dessert for breakfast and then
any day
later on.
Me too, any day.
Because I think, you know what I say to myself is that you can convince yourself, you think, well, if I eat that for breakfast, I can burn it off during the day.
Yes.
But if you eat it at night, you're just sleeping on it. So I don't know. Yeah. I don't know if the concept is normal or...
There's something in there.
There's something in there, isn't there?
I mean, I had Scott Bapty on last series, so I can send him a message and say, I might have something for you. This Please could be an idea.
Yeah. I mean, I should be an Adonis if that is the correct tip to do, but definitely not. So I don't know. I just think I'm really unhealthy. People say, what do you have for breakfast? And I because I'm gluten-free as well, it's a real difficulty in trying to get... Yeah, because I can't just grab bread, unless obviously it's gluten-free, but I can't just grab some cereal or grab anything. It's got to be... So I eat the weirdest diet because I just have to eat what I can.
Yeah. And I suppose I always find with the gluten-free stuff that I've had before, there's always this I don't know if it's because obviously I don't need to eat gluten-free, so obviously I'm always like, oh, it tastes a bit different than normal. It must be quite hard to find like that good chocolate muffin that like is like the same as what you were maybe used to before you kind of changed to gluten-free.
Yeah, absolutely. It's, I think one that I found was Genius. Have you seen Genius?
Oh, yeah.
The brand. You'll be good with brands, but yeah, it was the Genius brand, and it's perfect. And my mum gets it every time. If I go over to visit her, she's always got these muffins, and I think, stop buying them because you're going to make me fat. But I just think I enjoy it. So anyway, that's why I had it for breakfast Monday and Tuesday, because she had given me those muffins, and I've been down home. So yeah, so that's exactly why. So it varies on a day-to-day basis, but I try and be as healthy as I can. But it's the gluten thing that's the worst. It's just difficult, It's annoying at breakfast.
And it's not like you have an office job that if you just get hungry during your show, you can just get up and go get something to eat. You've obviously got to wait till you have your music breaks, or you have to kind of be full before you start type thing.
Yeah, I'll give you a little secret. So we usually record the Win It Minute the day before. That's an industry secret for you.
Exclusive.
Yeah, it's an exclusive, just purely because we record it the day before, just in case anything goes wrong. There might be a question that we're not sure about, or the list, so we don't want to take any risks. So what we do is we record it the day before. So at 8:10, that is like tea and toast time. So that what's coming up. You've got 2 songs in a row, and you've got the Win It Minute and another song. So you have this little bit in between. So you've got to be back for that. So what you do, you run through, put the toast in the toaster, you run back, you go, the weather's going to be great today. Anyway, wait a minute, and then you hit the button, and that's you can go back, go and get it, get the toast on, get the tea stewed. Perfect. You come back, you eat it, and then by 8:15 you've eaten it, and it's gone.
No one would even know the magic behind the microphone.
I know,
that's amazing.
It's mad,
I love
that.
So
that's
cool.
a secret that, by the way, you shouldn't tell anyone. like, obviously whoever's listening is in on the secret as well.
Keep it in the radio circle, we'll call it.
Yeah.
Radio circle, we'll call it that. And I imagine over your time that there's been a lot of kind of weird and wonderful stories that you've had to cover. What's maybe the most exciting or the weirdest story that you've ever had to cover on the radio?
Oh, there's been so many, Colin. There's so many crazy people in this world, but there was a lady.
And there's a lot of crazy people in Aberdeen. We fill a lot of the population. Yeah,
we do. We are weird and wonderful people.
Yes, greatly weird. I should say greatly weird, not psycho.
Absolutely. Yeah, not psycho, but yeah. So one of them was she phoned up and she said that when she went down a slide, she lost a boob from her bikini. So that was
okay. Not her boob fell off. That's what I thought you meant. I was like, what? This doesn't sound like a funny story. It sounds like a medical Marvel story. No. Okay, right. Her boob came out of her bikini. Right. Okay, I'm with you now.
Her boob had fallen out of her bikini. So that was probably one of the funniest stories we had. And then we had another lady who I've actually met the whole family, because the whole family's lovely and they play pipes and whatnot, and I've mixed in that pipe circle. But yeah, she gave birth in the ARI car park in the hospital. Like, the baby just went, I'm coming out. And so we hear these things, and one was born on the Hadigan, one was born on a roundabout. It wasn't the Hadigan. I made it up in my head that it was the Hadigan. Yeah. But imagine having a baby and it being born on the Hadigan. Just what?
There must be times when you get like a tip off and you're like, come over, someone's having us on. Like that didn't happen.
Sometimes you think, really? But most of the time people are quite, weird things happen to people. Like, it's madness. But yeah, the stories that we get, I think those are the two that stick out in my head that just make me laugh.
They never leave.
Think, really?
Oh,
what?
Jeez, Lou.
Amazing though.
God, I couldn't cope. I wouldn't trust anything that came in. I'd be like, nah, I'm not going. That didn't happen.
Live.
And then we'd miss out on all these great stories.
Well, I think sometimes, you're a bit skeptical with saying second names because somebody might put in Ben Dover.
Mm-hmm.
No, as in like not second names, but I mean like they're having you on. They're saying Ben Dover.
Yeah,
Ben Dover. Can you give a shout out to Ben Dover? And you think, so you say, I'm just going to give a shout out to Ben.
Yeah, there we go. Get out of it. No, I think that was my one. I think that was my one. Ha! So funny. And I imagine there's maybe been a few hairy moments during broadcast. Can you reveal any kind of face palm moments or moments that you're like, oh God, this is going awful, I need the show to end, or you've made a big whopper of a mistake?
It happens a lot. Happens probably daily. There's something. I remember once, there's two things that pop in my head. I don't want to go on about it, but it happened at 6:30 in the morning and I wasn't quite awake yet. And I don't know any sort of rhyming slang. I don't know if you know, like apples and pears.
Yeah, that's probably the only one I would know, I would say, yeah.
Well, I didn't. We do this thing called the 6 o'clock mind block, and it's a question that's aimed to wake you up in the morning. And it's like 29% of men do this in the morning before work. And then people will comment like, oh, is it have a shower? Is it have a poo? Is it this? Is it that? And then you read it out, you say, Billy from, I don't know, Cove says, blah. And I read out one that I wasn't even thinking. I didn't really understand it. And I said, I think it was like Bob from Hazelhead thinks it might be a ham shank. And just like, it's not a ham shank. And it was
live. This is live.
Live. We still have the audio to this day because it's absolutely hilarious.
Oh my
you
God.
Can hear the calculation in my head thinking, what have I said that's wrong? And I was really uptight about it because I was like, what? Like, what, who? And because if you're the butt of the joke, it doesn't feel good.
And especially if you don't know why, like, there's nothing worse, is there?
I just didn't get it. Like, everyone was just laughing and I was thinking, I don't get it. Ham shank, I don't understand. So then it wasn't till after he said, I was laughing my head off because I thought it was hilarious. Have I just said that at 6 in the morning bell. And to this day, I still think about it. But so that was one of them. And the other one was there was a massive hype about the panto, as there always is. You know, who's the panto star this year? Who's it going to be? Blah, blah. So I got sent down as the news kind of journalist, if you like. Go down, see who it is, get a little interview with them, and then we can play it on air as Lauren caught up with X. So I went there and I had no idea. It was all a secret. Got there and then they revealed it and it was Jimmy Osmond. I was like, I know Jimmy Osmond, but he was the guy who was on, I think he was on MasterChef for a while,
Yes.
like the celebrity MasterChef. Right. Yeah. I was like, right, cool. I'm fine with that. I can have a conversation with him, know what he does. And I didn't have any time to look at anything that he did, have any sort of preparation in any way. But I knew he'd been on MasterChef. So I went in with that information and I was like, hi, Jimmy, it's lovely to meet you. I'm Lauren from Northsound, blah, blah. You know, you'll be on air, diddle. And I said to him, so obviously you're in the panto, you're going to be singing. Are you good at singing?
Oh,
and like,
Lauren.
It was just a real like, and he just went, well, I hope I am because I've got a lot of money from it and all this sort of stuff. And I thought, I just had no idea. And we played it back and everyone was like, Jimmy Osmond, it's like, how do you, and I thought, oh, like, I thought he was just, I didn't know what he was. I just knew he'd been on MasterChef. And I thought, you know, it's probably my age as well, but I never listened to the Osmonds or anything like that. And just, it was just hilarious. I thought, what?
And I guess the good thing with him, he's probably the nicest. I mean, I think they're a very nice family. I don't know them personally, but he seems like he's probably even if he was affronted, you would never know. He'd just be like, yeah, as you say, he'd do that sort of joke about it.
Yeah, he totally joked. He just went, yeah. And ever since then, I had to really, you know, I'm quite good at laughing at myself anyway, but I was seriously embarrassed for him because I thought, bless his little heart, he carried on with it and thought, this girl has no idea. I mean, how offensive to somebody so amazing. Anyway, I'll never forget it. And I thought, if I ever have to meet him again, can you imagine?
Wear a wig and just walk about, hi, it's me.
I'm not Lauren.
I'm not Lauren, I'm Laura. Never has to know. So how long have you been on Northsound then? How many years is that?
6 years now.
6 years.
Yeah. So a year on travel and then 5 on breakfast.
Exciting.
Yeah.
So over that time, you've probably seen a lot of change in the city. What's the biggest change you think you've seen during your time on radio?
The Hadigan.
The Hadigan redevelopment.
Do you know what? I think that a lot of people can be quite negative about the city and they're, you know, people are like, oh, you know, oil and gas, it's on a downer, you know, the house prices, you know, everyone is ready to just moan. And I think I hate that. Like the positive side of it is the food. There's so much excitement with hospitality and what's next. And, you know, we've just found a different way of living now. I think the pandemic has had a massive impact on us. But I think when there's a pandemic, I've never lived through one, but I assume there's going to be opportunity and new things and exciting new things that's going to come out of it. And I am really excited to see the changes and also new art and just the creative people. There's so many creative people in this city, like nothing else before. I've lived so many places because of my parents in the RAF. So I've traveled to a lot of places and there's just nothing like the people here in Aberdeen and like yourself doing so much for hospitality. There's so many people pushing things on Instagram. I'm in this community, God knows how, but when I see my Instagram feeds and I'm seeing people, you know, going to different places, I'm really proud to see that and the changes. There's so much excitement. It's incredible. I think that people need to, you know, move with changes, and there's going to be a lot of change, but I think with change comes so much good stuff, and we need to focus on that and make it better and come together as a team. I think so. Yeah, it's mad.
I know. I think no, you have. Yeah, totally. I think it's one of those things as well. Like every city and every town, whatever, must feel the same. But I feel like with lockdown, it's almost like everyone has been like a bubbling can of Coke, and they've been waiting to like unleash what they've been wanting
Yeah.
to do. And anyone who was furloughed, or sadly if they got made redundant or anything, like that gave them the time to take stock and be like, what do I actually want to do? Like, what am I not doing that I could have missed out on because of this pandemic? And people have started up businesses, and
Yeah.
like it's amazing to see, especially in Aberdeen, like so many little kind of home bakeries and little kind of craft shops have started up. It's just amazing that people have just been given the gumption just to go do it. It's really
I
nice to
think
see.
you're absolutely right, Colin. It's so nice to see. And, you know, with, for example, people who have lost their jobs and they've started a business and stuff, but also people who have realized what actually matters in life, and they've taken a minute to just take a check of what they want to do. And is that spend more time with the family, spend more time with the kids, or get out more and explore? Because I've never explored any city like I've explored this one. I think, you know, I've lived in amazing places, but this one just, it gets so, I have a massive space in my heart for Aberdeen. I think the people in it, I've never seen anything like it. The community that comes together when we need to, it's insane. It's the weirdest, but it's amazing. I think it's lovely.
Definitely, couldn't agree more. And I kind of feel like I'm going to put a downer on that really nice, really nice little nugget of conversation there. So with obviously a lot of change, sadly we see some businesses close down and disappear off the high street. If you could bring back a food brand, that either a cafe or a eatery that you used to love that is no longer with us, what would you bring back from the Fed?
Oh, I was actually quite sad to see Hop and Anchor go recently. I found that out.
Yeah.
And it's sad because that was a lovely little place, you know, like,
such a nice venue
and
in there.
yeah, and actually Musa before that was amazing as well. The atmosphere in there, it's just such a lovely little place, and I think that's sad to see go. And I think that's the only one that springs to mind, because, you know, I think it's a human reaction that you tend to block out the negative, don't you, as much as you can.
Yeah.
So all I can see is the things that have popped up in the last year, and just the opportunity that has come from this. I think, you know, there's more now than ever. There's more opportunities now than ever, isn't there?
100%.
So I would say Musa, it'd be nice to bring something like that back. But I see a dog.
Oh yeah, that's Ramsey. Ramsey.
Guys.
Where is he? Ramsey, come and see him with Lauren. So it's my dog Ramsey. He's a rescue dog. Come on. He loves me really. Come on. Here he is. He's saying hello to Lauren.
He's so happy.
He's thinking, I need to go for a walk. That is what I want to do. That's all right. You go for your walk. Bye bye. I see a dog.
I see a dog. I'm done with this conversation.
The amount of Zoom calls and work calls I've had, and his tail just props up, like just walking by. They're like, is that a dog or a large horse? Yeah. So he's very large, but
how old is he?
He was like a stray, so he wasn't microchipped or anything. So we think he is probably 2.5 by now. So he's went through his teens. He's went through his stroppy teen phase. Yeah. So it's funny. He's like Jekyll and Hyde. One minute he'll like just be like on the sofa looking at. He sleeps all day. He sleeps about like 80% of the day, and then the next minute he's up on the window. He's jumping. He's running around the flat doing a zoomy. But we didn't change him.
Yeah, that's it. It's when they do the like excited. I've just done a poo.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're like, yeah, I know, and I've got to pick it up. Thank you. Honestly.
Oh my God. I love it.
So where are we? Right, the on-air sign is off and the headphones are off and your mic is packed away and you're finished for the weekend. What's your favourite way to spend a weekend in Aberdeen?
So I usually, on a Saturday, I'm up quite early because of my body clock. I wake up at the crack of dawn. Like, I'm even before the crack of dawn, I'm just awake. So I tend to get up and have a coffee, and I head out, and I'll literally go and see the sunrise. I always get confused. So yeah, usually I get up and I go out and I go for a long walk in the morning, and then before the pandemic, I would have said to you, I would be working. I would have done a show at the weekend, or I'd have been doing something at the weekend. But I think I've taken a massive stepped back in that, and I've just relaxed back and thought, I want to spend time with my family and my friends. And so I spend a lot of time with friends, and it is like, it's a schedule in itself, because I've got people I know from uni, I've got people I know from work, I know people randomly through Instagram. Like, it's weird how you meet friends through social media, but I click with people and they're just there, and I just love them. And I think now more than ever, it's just spending time with people as much as I can, and whether that is day drinking, cocktails, walking somewhere in the northeast, I'll be somewhere. But yeah, I actually went through a phase of Monroe climbing as well, but I'm in that slump. I'm in that slump that we're all in, where
trying to get back into it.
I can't get up. I'm just think, oh, not today. I'll do it again tomorrow. And it's a spiral, but I think it's the pandemic that's done it. I think it's, we've all stopped, and therefore it's hard to get out.
And now we're getting in, the nights are getting shorter. No.
Yeah, you're right.
Are getting longer. Is that right?
Days getting shorter, nights getting longer.
That's it. Thank you. We're all getting ready for autumn. We're all getting ready to slow down. And it is that thing as well. I think we've been so full pelt trying to like get back to life that now we're a bit like, I mean, how long can I keep on going at this life thing? I quite like just sitting in and doing my own thing. I know.
You're absolutely right. It's that as well. I'm exhausted from seeing friends, and therefore I just need a minute to like sit and go on TikTok and just
TikTok.
And so that's a weekend for me now. I mean, ask me again in a couple of months and it might be a gig or an event or something, but at the moment it is just friends, family, and food, alcohol at times. Just,
great.
In moderation.
Always responsible. Where's your favourite spot to see the sunrise in the morning in Aberdeen? Do you have a favourite spot?
It's got to be the beach.
I was hoping.
Are you the same?
Yeah. Our beach. I think for Aberdeen, we were very lucky to have a beach through lockdown.
Yeah.
I think everyone, when you think about the beach, people don't really go there that often. And I think through lockdown, I've never seen it so busy. And I think it needed the pandemic to make people realise, use the beach. Like, it is not normal. You get a beach in a city, use it.
No, it's not, is it? It's really not. I mean, Glasgow, you go down there and I think, where's the coast?
Yeah.
I need the coast. I love the East Coast. I think we're so lucky to get all of this, and Stonehaven, of course, is so close. And I think it's just such a nice place. But the beach is the best for sunrises, and especially at a certain time of year, you get the most insane colours coming through. And I had this hobby at, like, it's usually winter because you can feel the coldness, but in the picture, usually about February, March, you get the most incredible pictures, and people are like, how are you doing that? And you just obviously edit it very slightly and then put it on Instagram, and people are like, whoa. Where are you? How are we getting them? That sunrise is mental, but it's just perfect. The beach is amazing. It's lovely.
It so is. Love it. Could live there every day. Really could. I actually haven't been to the beach. After we say that I could live there every day, I actually haven't been to the beach in a while. I live just down the road from there. I should maybe go.
You're like, why am I lying? I don't know.
Yeah, I was like, oh God.
Where's your favourite spot?
So my favourite spot, I would say, is Old Aberdeen. So I live in Old Aberdeen, but going down the cobbles, there is one little street that I just love, and I can't remember what it's called, but it almost looks like a little German street. It's got like orange slated roofs, and it's like a little cobble. It's a lovely little street. So we take Ramsey, that's his little loop, we take him into Old Aberdeen, and I just love the cobbles. You can't beat it. All the old buildings and stuff, it's just nice. It feels like you're not in a city. It's so quiet, and it just feels like you're a bit removed from everything, and you just go for a switch off. That's what I like.
Yeah, and you can just turn off from work then. I suppose it's probably the opposite side of the city as well, isn't it? You're in the University of Aberdeen territory.
Yeah, exactly. I know. Don't mention that word. I know. But yes, that's where I love to go. Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's dive in to your food recommendations. I'm very excited to hear all this. So I set you the task of come up with your best food escape from all around Scotland. So where are you dining for your starter, your main, and dessert. And what are you ordering?
Okay. I mean,
I can see the fear in your eyes. You're like, oh my God, it's happening. It's happening.
Honestly, I've struggled so much with this. I've been thinking about it for a good 2 weeks because we are so lucky, and I think I in particular have had such a good life when it comes to food because I used to work at a 5-star hotel, and when I worked there, they gave you an option to go and stay at other 5-star hotels for a really small price.
Oh, decent.
Yes, it was almost like a mutual agreement between all the 5 red stars, and then therefore you can travel and go and taste. And that was one of the things I used to do, is go around Scotland and go to all these different hotels. And I never quite realized how good I had it until I became a student in Aberdeen. I thought, oh, I can't afford anything. Pasta, 60 pence pasta, and red, like yellow label foods. But I think I've been so lucky, and I think we all have, and the food industry has changed so much, and we really enjoy it now. I think a lot of us used to eat just because we had to, but now we're enjoying it. And really, there's blogging stuff on Instagram. Everyone's doing it, and you do recommendations all the time that I think, oh, I didn't even know that existed.
Like, add that to my list.
Yeah, add it to your list. And so you're forever just finding new things and new places. So I have to say this was the hardest one, and it comes with, I've kind of recreated the menu just purely because of memories that it gives me. It might be the same.
Oh, good. I love that. Yeah, great.
Yeah, I think, the memories that I've had in these places have just been incredible. So I'll start with the starter. All right, I'll just get on with it. So one of the places I went for food was a gluten-free curry house in Glasgow. And it's all, because it's quite hard to find gluten-free stuff, which is a pain, because you don't want to be that person in a restaurant where you're like, I'm gluten-free and because I know I've been on the back end of it and I've gone, oh, one of those. You know what I mean? So I don't want to be a nuisance to people. So I tend to look ahead, like, what can I get? Or what can I swap out, or say to them, you know what, there's no stress, just don't put the bread on there or anything like that. So there is a gluten-free restaurant fully for gluten-free, and it's called Dishin, and it's an Indian in Glasgow, and it's just amazing. I had such a good night there. When you'll remember that night for a long time. And it was a date. It was a date.
Oh, it was a date.
It was a date. So it was a really nice time for me, and I think I would have that from a starter. So like Indian nibbles. I love Indian food. I think it's beautiful, amazing. I've added a course, Colin.
I like this. Go for it.
Yeah. I've added a fish course.
Oh, you are bougie.
A bougie.
You are bougie.
Yeah, I thought, I'm struggling because there was a sushi restaurant in St Andrews. I just love sushi. It's just top of the list for me. Do you like it? Yeah.
Sushi would be my last supper. 100%. 100%.
Sashimi? Tuna sashimi?
I like tuna sashimi, but for me it would be like a California hand roll, but a lot of them, like lined up in avocado maki, like just like pick it up like Homer Simpson, like just sweeties. That's what I would do.
Honestly, it sounds like
I could eat it all day.
Song. That is a Rihanna song. It's like California. What did you say?
Oh, California hand roll. I'll write to her label and see if she wants to do a parody.
Do it. That is so good. I love it. So it'd be something to do with sushi, right? Anywhere in the world, because this one's shut down, this restaurant. But I'd have to have sushi somewhere. I'd have to have like a couple of, I could honestly just eat it morning, noon, and night. Just salmon slabs of salmon. Just love it.
Oh, I want sushi now. Sushi's like my like Rachel, my girlfriend, doesn't get it. Sushi's my like hangover cure. If I'm hungover, sushi.
Same.
Sushi.
Me too.
Don't know what it is.
If I've had a bad day, I treat myself because I go and get a full blown like pack of salmon, and it's like salmon slabs. I'm not even joking. And my granddad thinks it is the most disgusting thing. So I'm like, I come home and he's like typical like older man. He just likes a ham sandwich, like with crisps so much. But I'm like, look at this guy. I've got slabs of salmon. I was going to eat it in front of him. He's like, what the hell are you doing? You're eating it raw. What's wrong with you? I just love it. I think it's gorgeous. And I think everyone should try it once, because there's a lot of people that'll go,
Definitely.
oh, what's wrong with you? That's weird. But
yeah, you need to try out Eurokobe if you haven't already in Aberdeen. Eurokobe by CJ. Yeah, up there.
Okay.
Yeah, try there.
That's
Or go to Sushi Box.
It's honestly, this has been the hardest thing, because you have to whittle it down. I think the main course then would be a restaurant that I used to work in, which is terrible. But
okay.
And I don't want to push towards out of Aberdeen, because I like to support Aberdeen. But there is more Aberdeen coming. But it's the Old Course. It's the Old Course Hotel. It's one of the restaurants there. And it used to be a real treat for me to go in, and because I'd worked there all the time, and you think, oh, I have to go to work, but the food was just amazing. And I would have a fillet steak with cream spinach and mash. I mean, I don't know where I'm putting it all, but
that's the best thing with this food tour. No stomach. No stomach lining exists. That's not what I want to say. There's no limit.
There's no
Eat your
calories?
heart's content. No, we won't do any calories. It's imaginary.
Hate when you get full. Isn't it annoying when you get full and you think, I want more of this, but I can't. I physically cannot.
It's awful.
It's annoying.
It's like it's the worst thing to happen. It's the worst thing to happen.
It is. Okay, my dessert course, it actually probably I would have the whole dinner here as well. And it's the Cellar. It's in Anstruther. And it's honestly, it's expensive, but it's a real expensive treat.
It's worth it.
Oh my goodness. It's one that sticks out in my memory. And I remember, because I actually like having little small bits of food and tasting different parts of it. And, like all these flavors and things, I love to just have only a little nibble of it. And then I'm ready to go to the next thing,
Yeah.
But I'd have cheese. I love cheese.
You'd go for a cheese dessert.
You a fan of a cheese?
I love cheese, but yeah, I like sweet too much that I could never do a cheese dessert. I could never do a cheese
Really?
end. Yeah, but I love a cheese board, like cheese board any day, with some great tiger loaf bread, like thick slices of bread and stuff. Like that's the best.
I tell you what, gluten-free is hard for the good bread, but
of course,
for some reason, Marks and Spencer's, I don't know what they're putting in it, but it is the most delicious. And I would say it's better than any bread I've ever tasted in my life. And it is the tiger loaf. It's expensive to buy. It's probably like $3.50 or something. So it is like, for a tiger loaf, it's quite expensive, but it is, honestly, I would recommend it to even you who is not gluten-free. And I think you'd enjoy it.
Write it down. I'll write that
down.
Just
do it. And it's the Marks and Spencer's tiger loaf. And it's just, I don't know what they do. They must lace it in drugs, but I don't have no idea. But it's you have one and you're like, I need another, and you have another and you're like, I need it all. I'm just gonna gobble it all.
Oh, so what cheeses were on this cheese board at
everything.
This Cellar?
I would have you need quince as well. Have you ever had quince with a cheese
love
board?
Quince.
Who
One of my friends. So I never used to like a cheese board, and ex-colleague of mine, Claire, who I'm still friends with today, but she does a great cheese board, and she introduced me to quince. And I remember being like, what's this like weird like jelly thing, like what is this?
Yeah,
and she's like, it's quince. She's like, it's quince. And I was like, it's what? And then I tried it and I was like, oh my god, quince. I need this any day of the week.
Quince.
Oh my god, quince. Yeah.
It does. It's the weirdest thing, because it takes a cheese and just makes it 10 times better, doesn't it?
It does. And it's almost like a take on a chutney, but it's just not as it's almost like a smooth, sweet. I don't know what it is. It's just something about it. Just it goes so well. It's almost a bit like a jelly, actually.
Yeah.
Have that for breakfast. Have that tomorrow for breakfast. Quince.
What are you eating today, Lauren? Don't ask.
Quince.
Yeah. And you'll be amazed how many people don't know what quince is. They're like, what?
Yeah.
But honestly, try it, because it's just amazing. But the blue cheese, so I'll have blue cheese, like I can eat blue cheese.
That your favorite cheese? That your main cheese?
Yeah. What I sometimes think, but I'm eating mold. but I don't care. It's just amazing. Do you like blue cheese? 'Cause a lot of people don't.
I do. It's not my favorite, but I do like a blue cheese. I think I'm like working my way up the rank with it. But no, I love a manchego. Manchego is like my favorite cheese.
Oh, manchego is lovely, and also brie. I struggle with brie because if brie's on the table, I could probably wolf it down just on its own.
Yeah,
it's dangerous. I mean, that is like once on the lips, lifetime on the hips, and it takes forever to burn off. But it's a real treat, isn't it? A cheese board, I think.
Definitely.
I could actually have cheese board just for dinner most nights.
Yeah, we've done that a few times. I do like a cheese board for dinner. It's just a nice. You feel like it's a celebration. Like it's a nice thing to do, is it?
But the problem is, if you've ever noticed having cheese boards, you dream the weirdest things. Yeah. Honestly, I've had the worst dreams after cheese, and I wake up in the morning and I think, whoa.
What
was that? I actually had a dream about being in another radio station, and it had a completely different desk, and I was going live in 10 minutes. I could see the clock. It was 48 on the clock, and I thought, I don't know how to. I don't even know where the mic is. Like, where is it? And then I realized the mic goes like sideways, but usually our faders go up the way. So I'm like, okay, so that's the mic. And like, I couldn't find anything, and there was all these producers around me, and we produce our own show. So there's not, I'm a control freak when it comes to the show, but there was all these producers around me, like handing me papers, and Jeff wasn't there, and I'm like, what's going on? And it was a test, and at the end of it, the boss of this other radio station came out, and he's like, well, how did you feel? And I just thought, like, what? I don't even know how to just drive desk, because that's grade A.
That's
You're
awful.
going live. Horrible.
I hate dreams like that. In the dream, you're probably waiting for like the director on Northsound to come out and be like, this is exactly why you cannot leave. This is what's going to happen.
That's it. You should direct a film with that, because that's probably what would happen at the end. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that's funny. So sorry. And then the after dinner tipple.
Oh yes, what are you going for that?
It's been I feel quite offended on behalf of them that I've done this, but because I'd probably have the whole meal there as well. Do you know what I mean? It's horrible to say you would only have a drink there and then leave, but I go to eat on the green, I think, in Udney.
Good choice.
Because I think it's a really lovely place to go for a drink anyway. They make you feel at home in that place, and I think, it's a restaurant that I just like. I like it a lot. I love the vibe.
Would you be having the drink in the restaurant or in their little gin garden at the back?
Both. All of the above.
3 drinks, 1 at the front door, 1 in the restaurant, 1 at the gin garden.
Yeah.
And what would you be ordering?
I would go for a cosmopolitan, I think. Is that really basic?
Cosmopolitan? I don't think I've actually ever tried a cosmopolitan. I don't think.
Joking.
I don't think I have. I can't really imagine. Is it vodka and cranberry, that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got a weird thing with cranberry because it always dries out my mouth. So I was like, nah. I like my mouth to be lubricated. you know, like when you just get a claggy mouth, and you're like, I don't like feeling like I've ate sand. Not that I'm saying like anyone who makes cosmopolitan, I'm not saying that your Cosmo tastes like sand, but that's just how I feel. You know, like when you're like, I was ill like a few weeks ago and I was dehydrated, and everyone was like, oh yeah, drink cranberry juice. I was like, no, that's the worst thing for me to do. Said I had to drink like hydration sachets, and they were even bloody worse. But yeah.
Minging, those are the ones you have to do when you're running a 10k or whatever. Drink those.
It's like, it tastes like warm milkshake. It's horrible. It's vile.
It is, isn't it? It's thick and gloopy going down your throat. You're like, but yeah. I'm glad you're better. And no more cranberry. But don't you think orange does that as well? Orange juice.
Yes. I remember I also have a bad relationship with orange juice. Like I like drinking it now. It's like on breakfast, but I used to always drink vodka and orange juice on a night out. And I don't need to say the rest. I don't need to say the rest. You know what?
You're absolutely right there, because I used to have Diet Coke and vodka, and I cannot touch Diet Coke.
Yeah, it puts you off.
Absolutely. Blech. Horrible.
Horrendous.
Disgusting. Yeah,
Vile.
and that's a good tip for when you're younger and because everyone does those wild nights when they're younger, but avoid something that you want to drink later on in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Orange juice and stuff.
You'll just ruin it. Oh God, that's such good choices though. So for your starter, you're going for Dahin.
Dahin.
So gluten-free curry house, great. And then fish course is sushi starter, and then old course for your main, and the cellar for your little cheese board dessert. That's amazing. Love that.
Yeah.
So good.
I found that the hardest thing. I thought, is he really going to make me do this? I
am.
Because it's really hard. And I suppose everybody that you've asked is probably like, I can't think, because there's so many, and there's so many places that you would want more than one thing. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Definitely.
hard.
I know. Sorry. Yeah. This is why I'm the host, because I don't have to answer the question, because I'd never be able to string an answer together.
Do you know what? What would you do? What would you actually do?
Are you actually putting me on the spot right now? On my own show?
If you answer it quickly, then it means it's honest.
Okay, it's honest. Right, okay. So I would say for starter, I love a brinner. So breakfast for dinner. So I would get my starter. Yeah. So I'm going to focus on Aberdeen. So my starter would be a breakfast bagel from Second Home Aberdeen. Can't rate that place enough. That is where I would get. So it comes with bacon, scrambled eggs, avocado on the top, and a sriracha mayo. Top notch, top shelf. And you don't get that full from it after, so then you can order more. So it's great. You can get more after. And then main, I would say I would have to go for, I'm going to go sushi for main. And it would be at Yorokobi. And I might just be saying that because we just spoke about it, but yeah, I'll go for that. And it would be, like a wallpaper table. It would be a wallpapering table length full of all the sushi under the sun. And that is what I would go for. And then dessert, it'd have to be moonfish, wouldn't it? Moonfish do the best desserts.
You like a moonfish cafe.
Love a moonfish. And I haven't been there since long before the pandemic. So I'll have to go back and try that. Actually, no. Okay, I'm going to do two. I'm going to do moonfish, and then I'll go for a dessert chaser at Café Bohème, and I'll get their creme brulee, because their creme brulee is shamazing. It is good. Shamazing.
I'm writing these down.
Write that down.
Yeah,
they're
I need these. I have been for lunch at Moonfish a few times.
Oh, it's just always good.
It did pop into my mind. It did, but. Yeah. It
never lets you down. I think it's like a old friend. Never lets you down. Every time you go in, just never lets you down. That's what I always think. And a drink. So the issue with me is that when I drink, I usually don't remember. So I'm trying to think where I love a margarita. Really strong, salt around the rim, no ice. So I would probably have to go for. I'll go for Bar 99. Go Bar 99 for my margarita.
Oh, I have to say, right, I was thinking, while you're saying these things, Bar 99 is amazing. And also the Tiplin House. I really do quite enjoy that whole experience. Lovely. Yes.
I would go to Tippling House after for an old fashioned as well, for doing doubles. I'll do that.
What? You're changing the rules. I could have had
my podcast, my rules. Well, thank you for putting me on the spot. I'm going to have to think long and hard about my recommendations there, because I feel like that is honest, but I'd really like to have a think about that after and just see if I agree tomorrow. But I think I do.
Listen, this is the whole good thing about being live, is that you can't go back on what you said. You've just said it, and that's
true. It.
And you have to move on from it.
And this is why we pre-record, so I can cut it out.
Cut it out. I was gonna say, like, see if you can cut it out. You're in.
No, I'll keep it in. I'll keep it in. But that's great. Thank you for that. I love that. Okay, so before I ask you what your desert island disc would be, what is a song that you dread playing on the radio? Is there a request that comes in a lot that you're like, oh, not this one again?
How long do you have?
Oh, is it a lengthy list?
yeah. Do you know what? I can't deal with Tones and I. Dance
What
Monkey.
one? Yeah, awful. Yeah. And it's that,
I just can't.
I don't know
can't
about
do
you,
it.
but I remember that song from X Factor. Someone auditioned with it, and I remember them singing it. It sounded like a trumpet, and I remember that's what I hear every time I hear it.
Oh,
Yeah.
that is the worst,
Dance
isn't
Monkey.
it?
That would probably be close to my list as well. I would say, actually. Yeah.
Oh, there's certain songs that I have to switch off. I have to like physically just put it on pre-fade and hear silence and just give it
Yeah.
a sec. But that would be the worst for me. And I feel like if Tones and I ever tunes into your podcast, Colin, I'm sorry. Sorry.
They won't be coming for a guest interview on Northside. They'll be like, well, we're not going there.
So yeah, I think that would probably be the worst. But there are a few because we've obviously, the aim of the game with us is to make sure that when you get in the car, we play your favorite songs for 20 minutes, and then you jump out, you go to work.
Yeah.
So it's all the charty stuff, it's all the up to date stuff, which is great. But when you hear it quite a lot, you can sometimes get like, oh!
Yeah,
Everyone's
like Radio 1, same songs every hour. Like, yeah, it gets very boring. But yeah, as your slogan says, the biggest hits, the biggest throwbacks.
The biggest throwbacks, and I do enjoy the throwbacks.
Oh yeah, who doesn't?
It's amazing. But because the throwbacks are when you've got memories of the song. So I mean, the kids now absolutely love George Ezra, love Tones and I, love all this sort of stuff. So you've got to, everything has a place. Everything has a place. But
definitely,
yeah, I think that's the one that I'm like, oh.
Yeah. And what's the most requested song? I guess maybe is it more what's in the charts, or do you get a lot of old ones? Like,
so we do quite a lot of the throwback requests. That's what Gregsy and Grant usually do, and they're amazing at that, and it's a really good show to listen to. But the one that we get quite a lot from mostly kids is George Ezra and Shotgun.
Yes, that's actually funny because I remember my nephew's 5th birthday, and that was when it came out, and it literally all these kids round in a circle. I mean, when I was younger, it was Happy Birthday, but this one they were all sitting just going, "Home, go now the Casey."
Yeah.
I don't think they actually knew the words, but I remember them going, "Oh."
Magical.
But yeah, that is a good song though. Yeah, it's a nice feel good song, that one, is it?
It is, and I like feel good songs. I think when I hear a sad song, Lewis Capaldi is one of those typical ones where I love him. I think he's amazing, but I think he sings the most miserable lyrics, and you're like, yeah, really, Lewis? You've been through another breakup? Do we have to hear about it?
Yeah.
So yeah, but I love him all the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Good save. On that very very apt note, what would be your feel good song that you happily listen to day in, day out?
It changes all of the time. All of the time. One song that I really quite like is a throwback. It's Love Inc. and it's Superstar. So that's one that I would listen to at any time.
Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah.
Just reminds you like where you've come. But the one that I listen to all of the time at the moment, and I can listen to it on repeat, and I just love it. And it's David Guetta, John Newman, How Will I Know? Do you know the one? It's like, how will I know if you love me? Is that the Whitney Houston version or something?
I think it is.
And
yeah.
Do you know what's magical about that song though? Is that anyone you play it to knows the song because it's a remix of a song that's already been around. And sometimes that's a bad thing, but on this occasion they've nailed it and they've made it sound incredible. And so I went to my mum's, right, and we had a big blowout, and it was my brother's girlfriend was there, who's a little bit older than me, so there was a generation, so it was like 50, 40, 30, and we're slightly below, but like that generation, so we're totally different generations. And I put this one song on, and the whole room just came together, and they were like, yeah, because everybody knew the lyrics.
That's when you know it's a good song.
It's a good song. When you know the lyrics quickly and easily, that is a hit. And it's all about the beat as well.
Amazing.
Did you know, Colin?
What?
This is a nice sort of fact, but music has maths in it. So it's mathematical. It's like all about the beat, the
Oh.
I don't even know the technical thing, but they know it's going to be a good song and a hit when it's got the right beat, the right melody, the right X, Y, and Z.
Oh my
I
God.
can't remember what it is, but yeah, it's all mathematical.
Well, this makes sense why my music career didn't do well then, because I can't do maths. Oh, makes sense. Oh, makes sense.
All makes sense now.
Well, that's a great music choice and great food recommendations. And it's been so nice hearing about how you got into radio and the road to now. So thank you so much for joining me. And hopefully I'll see you soon, not on Zoom. See you in person.
Do you know what? I'd be happy to see you again soon, Colin, because you're amazing. But well done on the podcast. And also, it'd be nice to actually be outside of Instagram. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I followed you for years, so... Well, I think it's been years, but you've always been there.
Yeah, likewise. But no, it's been so good, and thank you so much. And we'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
We had it all. We had sushi, we had curry, we had cheese courses, and a great way to get a flavour of what's going on in Scotland too. And also, always great to chat about Aberdeen. And I think something we can take from what Lauren said is that we all just need to keep together, keep driving forward, and we can keep on making changes happen and make a better city for everyone. And I think that's what we want at the end of the day. Unless you absolutely hate Aberdeen and you don't want to be here, then I guess you won't be helping. And she even played my own game, turning the tables on me on my own podcast. What a cheek. But obviously, of course, that's Aberdeen. There's a lot more places in Scotland, which we'll hear about next week when I have another guest on speaking about their top places to eat. So that takes us to the end of this episode. Thank you again for listening. That's all from me, so I'll leave you to get on with your day, your morning, or your afternoon, and stay safe, eat well, and speak soon. And we'll see you next time.